Proof shot fire, won't get through. Got me loose, got me loose. At the bulletproof, bulletproof shots fire, won't get through. What's up? What's up? Let's continue talking about the Flourishing 3-2-1 man framework. The Flourishing 3-2-1 man. The 3 stand for 3 things. Flourishing 3-2-1 man. The 2 stand for 2 things. Flourishing 3-2-1 man. The 1 stand for 1 thing. The 3 stands for the 3 foundations. From here on out, I call the 3 building abilities. The foundations are going to be called the 3 building abilities. What is that? That is, a man has to have the ability to build a house. A man has to have the ability to build a business. And a man has to have the ability to gain an understanding in court ethics or court competencies and law. Why does a man need to have an understanding of law and court competencies? Because if you can't enforce justice, then you are vulnerable to injustice. We don't need that. And it's not only about criminal. It's also about you need to be able to stand up civilly as well. A bunch of us were in a position where we should have been suing and gaining a bunch of money from it. You should have an understanding of what you should be approaching the clerk's office, the court's clerk office about. Do you know what a habeas corpus is? Do you know what a bill in equity is? Do you know the difference between a chancery court and a court of law? A lot of you probably don't, and you should. You should know. A man should have the ability to build a business. I'm not talking about going to go and find yourself a hustle. I know like a lot of guys, they think they're going to be a barber. I'm going to be a barber. I'm going to start a lawn service. And they plan on doing all the work. We're talking about having a business, a real business, having a business, a real business, a business with a marketing system, a sales system, a customer care system, a management system. A business is a entity filled with systems, serving the people. You should be able to do this because anywhere you go, you have to be financially secure. You have to secure finances for yourself. Man should have the ability to build a house. Why? 2 reasons. 1, as soon as you build a house, it's almost instantly worth 100 grand more than what you built it for. Almost. Not all of them, but most of them. Or more. Number 2 is you should have the understanding, the capability, the knowledge, the know-how, the wherewithal to go out and grab a piece of land and put a family compound there. Your family needs to be able to go out and take risks and not have to worry about where they're going to lay their head at if they fail. And that's one of our problems out here. Like all of us kind of like a big portion, not all of us, but a big portion of us are kind of trapped because we can't take risks because we worried about being comfortable. And who want to really live outside? It's nice to have your place that's warm and you can go prepare your food and clean area, not have to worry about bugs getting to it, and you got a nice soft bed. So you should be able to create a family compound, allow your family a chance to go out and have a good shot at family wealth enrichment. The Flourishing 3-2-1 man. The 3 stand for 3 things. The 2 stand for 2 things. Those 2 things are, if you are to have a family after the 3 building abilities, a man has to be capable and knowledgeable of cruelty. Why does a man have to be capable of cruelty? He has to be capable of cruelty because if you ain't capable of cruelty, you can't defend the family. And the second thing is, if you don't know cruelty, you can't love your family because you don't know what cruelty looks like. So you can't give love. Other than being capable of cruelty, a man has to have a harmonious understanding with his co-part. What does that mean? Harmonious understanding. First word, harmonious. Have harmony together. Second word, understanding. We talking about comprehension, clarity. The type of comprehension and clarity so deep that it's sacred. I've been all around, going person to person, young man to young man, spreading this message of the flourishing 3-2-1 man. And I think that I'm giving off you shouldn't work hard vibes. And that's not the case. I think hard work is really a really good thing. Just not till I'm 60-something years old. That's all. I don't think you should be working hard AF for 30 years. It's just ridiculous to me. So that's why it's important that a man is building one house a year so that he can have the money that he needs to pull himself from having to do laborious tasks or to have to give his life hour for dollar, hour for hour, for dollar. So I know that I'm giving tidbits here and there. This is like, I want you to think about these videos, these first videos of like you ever had a cake and it was so good, and maybe you had that cake on a napkin or a plate, and you ate the cake up, and all that was left was these little crumb morsels, and it was buttery and sweet and full of flavor, and you took your finger and you dabbed it, and that's what this is. That's what I'm giving you currently right now. I'm giving you just those little crumbs and morsels. I've been out talking with some really great men and women. I got some interviews that's lined up for you guys. I'm talking about, I know I can't expect you guys to make a decent turd and I don't feed you. So I've been out gathering guys and gals that just going to bring so much value to your plate, so that you have some really good food for your mind, some real edible delights. Over the last week, I went to a small business expo in Atlanta. I was in a workshop. In the workshop, they spoke about perfection. And they said something so great. They said perfection is procrastination. And I can't help but agree. The videos that you are receiving from me are my efforts in not being perfect. I'm a music producer, also a Capricorn. I pay attention to details. I just think that the things that I do are just never good enough. And I put off on a lot of things. So what you're getting from me is not going to be perfect. And it's not perfect because I'm not procrastinating. I want to hurry up and get this message to you as fast as I can, as highest quality as I can. I want to serve you at the highest quality as I can, but I don't want to keep delaying the message. Because every time I look up, I got something that I'm critiquing, a word that I'm turning around, because the words are so important. One of the most important things that we do in our day, that we do unconsciously, is go after information. You always think about it. All day you like, what you said? Who was that? Why? Who just called me? You asking for information all the time. And the words are so important in that information. Why are the words so important? I think the Bible say, I can't quote this verbatim, but it says something about the word was with God. And I believe they're talking about Jesus was with God in the beginning. But I like to take it literally. I think the word was with God. I think God created word. Inside the word, words, our voice, vocals, is data. And your brain takes that data and it turns it into information. So all the time, I'm analyzing the words, because I know the words is giving you data, which turns things into information. And when you're someone who is possibly in the dark about things, if I'm going to turn your light on, I have to give you the right information so you can be enlightened. And I don't mean to bring up Bible stuff redundantly. If the word was with God, and God said he's not the author of confusion, I think it's important that I pay attention to the complexity, for the details. I want to be sure to infuse you with this message and not confuse you with this message. It's my belief that getting after the 3 building abilities will allow you to walk into your purpose, to allow you to explore your gifts, your creativity, allow you to serve God and his people. And say, how am I know when I'm there? Well, you know, when you start doing something and it doesn't benefit just you, as a matter of fact, it may not benefit you at all. It is a fruit from you. That's how you know. And when you get it and you see that it's good and it feels good and it's good for people around you, you got to be just like when you get your girlfriend a gift, the first thing she do is she get on the phone. She get on the phone and call her best friend or her cousin or mama, and she ready to tell somebody. And it makes you proud to see that. That's the same thing God's going to want you to do once you discover your gift. You need to get out and start letting everybody know. And make them proud. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about being a king. All day, brothers, sisters, we're using the word king, queen. And we just simply want to be royal. We all want to be royalty. We want to be treated like famous people. We want to be kings and queens, but not possess the attributes of a king or queen. And to be real with you, all of us are not going to be kings. All of us don't deserve to be kings, but you can. You can if you want to. Kings have something I call S.U.S. Kings are S.U.S. Kings are S.U.S. Kings are S.U.S. And I don't mean suspect. Kings provide S.U.S. I don't mean substance. S.U.S. is an acronym. S.U.S. I'm going to give you a story. Can I tell you a story? And it's going to be kind of broken. In the Bible, it talks about how the Israelites wanted a king. At the time, they had a system ran by men who were titled judges. These judges were very corrupt, though. And pretty much what they said is what happened. If a crime happened to you or if something was taken, it was a dispute, it was whatever they said went. And they were very corrupt. The Israelites also had a problem with the Philistines. The Philistines came around and was whooping on the Israelites. And I want you to think about in that time, you know, a whooping, two nations warring with each other isn't like the war we see today where our army goes out and they have a base there and they go out and they shoot something up and they come back and they might have a prisoner or two, maybe. But in their time, looting was happening, raping would happen. You would be enslaved. So much, it's just very like real atrocious things would happen in that time when two nations went to war, and they were just tired of it. And they was like, we need a king, and the king job at that time was to be the man that was closest to God, that would lead the people. They wanted a king, and even though they was advised that you might not want a king because a king could be corrupt too. A king could possibly have your kids, take your sons and put them in the army and turn your daughters into servants. And why, even though they was warned, they had the wrong reasons for wanting a king, and everything said not to have a king, they still wanted a king. And they got a king. They got a king to provide the S.U.S. S.U.S. What does S.U.S stand for? Q. It stands for security, S.U.S, unification, S.U.S, structure. Security, unification, and structure is what that stands for. So I would ask you today, as a king, are you providing security, unification, and structure? What's security? Security, if you ever look at any of the movies where there's kings, there's feudalism going on, the kings defended their nation with a military. And often the king rode out with the military. That was security. Also, too, in these same movies or books, you will see that kings married other kings' daughters, or brought tribes together through some kind of ceremony, of some kind of relationship ceremony contract. It was the king's job to bring together peoples, to be that bridge to bring together two peoples. Also, the king provided structure. What is structure? The environment, the spirituality, spiritual leadership, the rules. The king's job was to provide security, unification, and structure. Are you doing that? And I can expand on those, and we will expand more as we go further. But I ask you, are you providing that? Are you a king? And then you say, what's a queen? A king makes a queen. A queen is a byproduct of a king. So before you can start calling a woman a queen, that's unless she is born to a king, which then she's a princess, and then the king dies, then she becomes a queen, or something of that nature. But if we're talking about you being a king and you creating a queen, your woman being a queen as a byproduct of you being a king. So I would like you guys to also remember here to take my 4 steps to being self-taught with you. Remember, we want to read about something when we're learning something new. We want to hear a lecture about it or a video. Like when you read it, the reading is going to give you words, right? The words are data. And the data, your brain turns into information. So you have to read about it. And when you read about it, when you get that lecture, you're going to hear words from things that you read. Because a lot of times, the expert, hopefully you are listening to an expert, and it don't have to be just a video lecture. It could be, it could be a podcast as well. And you want to be sure to listen to an expert speak about that new thing that you are learning. So you want to just have many reputations of exposure in many different ways and many different perceptions as well, because some messages hit and land a little different for you. So we want to read about it. We want to get a lecture. We want to have a group discussion. A group discussion is so important. It allows you to exercise what you thought you knew, put it out there, and maybe in that discussion, someone maybe correct you, or maybe you correct someone else, or maybe they show you something different that they heard, and then tell you a different perspective of what they learned, the way they learned it, and you add that to yours. And then the last one is to have a field exercise. Go out and do that thing. Chuck, I'm Q. I hope that this message serves you. Gratitude.